We've been working on our nativity quilt. Now it's time to put it together. I'm choosing 2-inch strips to go in between my pieces, but choose whatever you like. They can be wider or more narrow. It's your quilt, you make it how you want it. So I've just cut some 2-inch strips, and I'm gonna take my first block, and I'm going to put this strip across the top, just like this. Pretty side to pretty side. I'm gonna sew it with a straight stitch and a 1/4-inch seam. Back stitching when I start and when I stop. I'm gonna get the 1/4-inch seam by following the edge of my fabric with the edge of my presser foot. I'm just gonna follow my fabric with my presser foot, and I'm not gonna look at my needle. I teach my students to sew a strip to each side of the block instead of sewing one long strip. Now listen, what I'm about to do next is very controversial, so do not yell at me in the comments. It's none of my business how you do it. I don't care. You do it any way you want to do it, okay? I'm just showing you the way that I'm doing it. I'm not telling you this is how you have to do it. I want you to do your project exactly how you want to. I've sewn my strip on here. See this? I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to cut it off right here, even with the back of my block. I'm going to open it up, and I'm gonna turn it pretty side to pretty side, and I'm gonna sew right down this side, same way. Straight stitch, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. When I finish this, I'm gonna trim the excess off the bottom, just like I just did. Now, I'm gonna add this strip to the top and the right side of each one of my blocks. I'm gonna do them all the same way. The quilt police will yell at me and say you have to cut your strip the same size as your block and sew it on, but that's not how I'm doing it. If that's how you want to do it, that's how I want you to do it, but that's not how I'm doing it. And I'm not the boss of you. I cut my strips the width of the fabric, and then I sew it on, and when I'm finished, I cut the excess off, and then I do the other side the same way. All of these templates are available at hometownquiltcompany.com, and they're a great scrap buster because you can use all of your scraps for all of these smaller pieces. And then you have this incredible treasure forever. You have it, and then your family has it. I promise, if you make it, you won't be sorry. We have now sewn our strips onto 2 sides, and I know you have questions, and I promise it's all gonna come together. The next thing we're gonna do is iron them. You go iron yours, I'll iron mine, and I'll be right back. I'm back. Okay, I've ironed mine, you've ironed yours. The next thing we're gonna do is put them together. I'm gonna put mine together in the order that I want them, but I want you to put yours together in the order that you want them. You don't have to put them together exactly like I do just because it's the way that I'm doing it. So I'm putting Bethlehem, my angel, and my star in one row. It's gonna be my top row. Then I'm gonna put the Wisemen, Mary and Joseph, and the shepherd in the second row. And then I'm gonna put my animals in the third row. But you can mix them up, the top and the bottom row, any way you want to, or make those two, put those 2 rows together and make your larger pieces go at the top or the bottom. It's totally up to you, really. Now, I'm gonna take my first 2 pieces, and I'm gonna lay them pretty side to pretty side. Now I wanna make sure, let me show you. So the first 2 pieces in my row are Bethlehem and the star. Do you see that? So I'm gonna lay them pretty side to pretty side. I'm gonna sew right here and open it up. When I open it up, then I'm going to sew my angel to it, just like this. I'm gonna fold it over, pretty side to pretty side, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop, because my grandma said so. This is the part that gets exciting to me, when you're getting close to seeing the whole finished project. So now I'm gonna open this up. We have Bethlehem and the star, and I'm gonna lay my angel on here. Here's my angel. I'm gonna lay it pretty side to pretty side, making sure that I only have one side that has a border. So I did the top and the right side of all of mine, and this is the left side of the angel, so she doesn't have a border. And I'm gonna sew this the same way, straight stitch, 1/4-inch seam, back stitching when I start and when I stop. Our first row is sewn. Now I'm gonna sew my second row and my third row exactly the same way. And then we'll put them together. If you wanted to make your quilt a little larger, all you would need to do is make your strips a little wider or add a border or 2. Okay, we've sewn all of our blocks into rows. Now we're gonna sew our rows together. This is my bottom row. I have a camel, a lamb, and a donkey. And here is my second row. So I'm gonna lay one row on top of the other one, pretty side to pretty side. Now, I want to make sure when I pick these up that my donkey is facing the way that I want him to be, and that my shepherd or Mary and Joseph or whatever you have is all going the same direction before you turn it over. Because what's terrible is to sew it, open it up, and realize you have a whole row upside down. Raise your hand if it's happened to you. Me. It happens to me. We're going to sew it the same way. Straight stitch, 1/4 inch seam, back stitching when you start and when you stop. And now you've almost completed the most perfect treasure for your family. And it's not lost on me that these will be handed down from generation to generation. And that many years from now, that quilt you're working on today will be loved by someone that you've never met. Now let's sew our top row on. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure everything's going in the same direction so that when we sew it, it's the right side. And we want to make sure that we're sewing 1 block to 1 strip. You should only be sewing 1 block to 1 strip. So if you had this upside down, you would have 2 strips being sewn together and you would know that was wrong. You're going to fold it over pretty side to pretty side and you're going to sew it the same way. And then we're going to open it up and see what we got. One time I sewed a row on upside down, sewed 2 borders around it, and still didn't realize the row was upside down until I put it on the quilt frame. So if it happens to you, you're not alone. Now, so when you open it up, this is what you're going to see. Or however you put yours together. So you have a border on the top of your quilt and down the right side, but you do not have one on the left side of your quilt or across the bottom because we only sewed borders to the top and the right side. Now we're going to sew the same border, whatever you used. I used these 2-inch strips. We're going to sew those down the sides and across the bottom. Let's pretend that you had sewn a border all the way around all of your blocks. The only thing that would be different right now is that you would have a border down the left side, you would have a border across the bottom, and each one of your borders would be 2 wide throughout your quilt. And if that's what you want to do, that's perfectly fine too. Okay, now, let's go look at it. We're going to come back here and lay it out on the floor so we can see it all. And this is what we have. That was so easy, I told y'all. Now all that's left to be done is to quilt it your favorite way or send it off to your favorite quilter. My name is Tammy. I'm your favorite sewing teacher, and I would love for you to come sew with me.